Well, we're here today at the Tustin Area Museum to interview a rather famous Tustin resident, the Honorable Chuck Puckett. Chuck Puckett has been a resident here for many, many years and former mayor and city council person, and we're very anxious to have Chuck tell us his story. So Chuck, I understand you grew up in Kansas.
I did. I was born and raised in Kansas.
Tell us a little bit about what you did in Kansas and what were the circumstances that brought you to Tustin.
All right. Born and raised in Kansas. Went to high school, went to college in Kansas.
Which college?
Went to Pittsburgh State University. And it's always confused with Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. You know, I say I graduated from Pittsburgh State University. Oh, Pennsylvania. No, it's Pittsburgh, Kansas. But it's, and our mascot was the Gorillas, the only college in the country that's the mascot of the Gorillas. But we were a famous football school, Division II, and in probably the last 40 years, they've won more football games than any Division I or Division II school. So wow. they were really a powerhouse. National champions several times. But and I was student body president in high school, and I was student body president at Pittsburgh State University, so student body president in college. So that's what kind of gave me the
leadership instinct.
Yeah, the background, maybe in the thought of maybe getting involved in later years. But when I was at Pittsburgh, when I was ready to graduate, I interviewed with several companies, but I interviewed with John Deere Company, and they offered me a job to start working out of the Kansas City branch. And my wife, I married Donna Henry in 1965, right out of college, and she was really a homebody. She wanted to stay close to Kansas. But John Deere moved me to western Kansas, and then from there they moved me to Denver. And one of the questions they asked me when I interviewed was, would I mind living in a small town? And I said, no, I wouldn't, because I grew up in a small town. Well, they made the mistake of moving me to Denver. So when it came time to move back to a small town, I said, no, I don't want to do it. So I had gotten a call 7 o'clock in the morning from Kansas City branch wanting to know if I wanted wanting to promote me onto another job, a higher job. And I said, nope, I can't do it. I'm not going to do it. So I came out of the bedroom and told Donna I just quit my job. But that was in 1968. And at that time, jobs were a little bit easier to come by. I had 4 weeks severance, and I had a new job in 3 weeks. So I actually had 9 different ways to go. But I had narrowed it down to Michelin Tire Company, which was more like what I was doing with John Deere, or Hunt Wesson Foods. But there was just something magical about the food company in Hunt Wesson Foods. So I decided to go to work with Hunt Wesson Foods. So my first day on the job, I went to Nebraska to work with one of their area reps. And I got in the car and we headed down to call on one of the distributors. He started talking about tomato sauce and tomato paste, and I can still remember the feeling that started in my toes. It came up like this, what have I done? You know, from heavy equipment to ketchup and tomato sauce. But it kind of blew out, and then I was fine. So I ended up spending 32 years with Hunt Wesson. But, they had moved me to Kansas City, so we were back home. Donna loved that. But we were only there about 9 months, and at that time I was working out and reporting to the Chicago district office. They wanted to open a district office in Denver and wanted me to go back to Denver. So I went back. We ended up buying the house 2 doors up from the one we were in, so we went right back into the same neighborhood. But we were there then 3 years, and then the opportunity came to come to LA, which was the home office. The home office for Hunt Wesson Foods was in Fullerton. So I came out here on a Thursday and Friday to look around at housing and see what housing was like. So I looked around Thursday, and I really hadn't seen a whole lot that I liked. So I called Donna that night and was kind of discouraged, and she in her infinite wisdom said, if the Lord wants us to move to California, the Lord will provide us with a house. And me and my small mind, said, "That's great, but the Lord doesn't have much time." And I interviewed them the next morning with the vice president in Fullerton. I got on the freeway and was offered the job. Got on the freeway and headed down to Mission Viejo because there was a Mission Viejo development in Denver that I was familiar with. Well, I saw the model homes for the pepper tree tract on the corner of Jamboree, or a corner of I-5 and Jamboree Road. Went in, loved it, took a brochure, flew back to Denver. Donna liked it. We called a neighbor that was a realtor. She came down, we listed the house. On Sunday, I flew Donna and the kids back to LA to go down and look at the house. We bought the house. I took them back to the airport on Monday, and I stayed out here to work. So when I called her Monday night, she was sitting there with a contract on the house. So the Lord knew what he was doing. He didn't need much time to put that all together.
He always
So,
does.
yeah, so when people ask me what brought me to Denver, or what brought me to Tustin, I tell them it was divine guidance, because it certainly just worked out. So I came out here as district sales manager for Hunt Wesson Foods. And my guys, we were in the, Hunt Wesson had a food service division and a grocery division. And the food service division, which I was in, we called on the distributors that sold to the restaurants. And our guys called and sold to the distributors, and then they went out and called on the restaurants also to try to pull that product through. So it was really ended up being a very, very good job. I worked there for, 32 years.
32.
Went from the district sales manager, ended up as director of national accounts, where I was handling the large restaurant chains. And my job as director of national accounts was to go with the big restaurant chains on their national conventions and play golf with them and schmooze, and it was really a tough job. So I had a great time doing that. We traveled all over the world with that, taking our top
Conferences and
customers
stuff.
on trips and whatever.
Good.
So I really loved the food business.
Chuck, before we leave Kansas, I know that you attended with the American Legion something called Boys State.
I did. I was one of four students in high school, Parsons High School, that went to Boys State.
Now, did that have any impact on you wanting to get into leadership positions?
I think it was just a part of it,
Just a part of it.
because only guys that really had some leadership ability were
Candidates to go.
were invited to go. And we spent a week in Wichita and learned all about leadership and governance and whatever. And I think I ran for an office, and I think I ended up being a senator or something. But it was a good opportunity to really learn about
And
politics.
I know that while you lived there, you became an Eagle Scout.
I did, and that's one thing I'm really proud of. I have a brother that's 2 years younger than I am, and we were in Cub Scouts together. And then when I got out of Cub Scouts, I waited for him to get out of Cub Scouts to go into Boy Scouts together. So I went in at age 13, and then at age 15, I had my Eagle. I got my Eagle. And I also went to Philmont Scout Ranch in New Mexico, which was a highlight of scouting. But I'm just so proud of being an Eagle Scout, and I'm a member of National Eagle Scout Association, and was recently honored as an outstanding Eagle Scout. So scouting has been very, very important to me.
Well, anytime I make an American Legion award to the Eagles at Red Hill, you're usually there, and when they call them up on the stage, you're the oldest Eagle in the room, always.
Always. 'Cause
I get a big kick out of it.
I got it back in 1959. 1950, to think how many years ago that was. Oh, man.
Well, let's get back to Tustin. Did you get involved in community affairs during the Hunt Wesson years, or did you wait till you were retired and then say, what am I going to do?
No, as soon as we came here, Pepper Tree Tract had a Pepper Tree Homeowners Association, and they had what they called area reps. So they had an area rep that was responsible for the houses on that street. Well, I became an area rep just immediately. And I thought, man, this is the land of milk and honey. You can get involved just like that. And then I became president of the Pepper Tree Homeowners Association. And one thing I did
So you
there.
have a leadership instinct.
Oh, well, I always have been, seems like. But I got Ron Hostry, and a lot of people will remember Ron Hostry. He was a former mayor. He was 2 or 3 time mayor. But he was a neighbor of mine, and I got him involved in the Homeowners Association. And when I got out of the Homeowners Association, he became president. And then he ran for city council in 1980 from the Homeowners Association. So, and I always wanted to serve with him. I ran a couple of times trying to get on with him and never did make it together. We served on Harbors, Beaches, and Parks Commission together, and that's the only thing we ever served on together.
Now, was the Planning Commission your first city-oriented
Yes.
thing?
Yeah.
Tell us about those years.
I ran for council in '82 after Ron was elected in '80, and Frank Granke was elected, and who was a well-known businessman here, and Ursula Kennedy was reelected. So, I think I came in 4th, but as a result of that, I was nominated for the Planning Commission. I got to serve on the Planning Commission. So I served on the Planning Commission from '82 to '88. So the marketplace, we did the marketplace at that time. We did the auto center, the East Tustin specific plan, and so I feel like I really, I've involved in a lot of groundbreakings, and the fountain that's in place at the marketplace there by Starbucks and Rubio's, I remember dedicating that fountain, and just all kinds of memories like that from being involved from day one.
That's just great. Now, when did you then become involved in the city council?
Well, in 1988, I decided to run for city council again, and so I had to give up the.
Can't do two at the same.
No, I had to give up the planning commission to run for council again, and I lost again. So this is the second loss that I had in running for council. But then I ran again in 1990 and was elected for the first time, and so I became mayor in '91. So had a great stint as mayor and being involved in the city. And
what's the difference in being a mayor and a city council person?
A little more responsibility and running
so.
the meetings primarily, and whenever somebody wants a representative from the city to come, it's pretty much the mayor. So you get a lot of opportunities to go to different events and dig holes and
to be the face of
be the face
of the government to the public.
Yeah.
Must be a little bit of fun too.
Oh, it was. I had a great time. It was a great time. So
how many times total have you been mayor?
3 times.
3 times.
Yep. I didn't win a re-election in '94, so I've lost 3 elections, but I've also won 3 elections. So to me, that's what counts. You win 3 elections. But I lost in '94, and then I was reappointed back to the Planning Commission in, I think, 2006. I kept involved in other things the whole time there while I was not involved with the city on the Planning Commission or the council. But I got back on the Planning Commission in 2006. And then the mayor, John Nielsen, at that time, asked me to run for council again. And I said, well, you'll have to get Donna's okay. So he came and sat down at the table and talked Donna into letting me run again for one term, she said. So, and then after 1 term, she let me run again, and I ran 2 times.
Now, where was the acquisition of the old Marine base involved?
Marine base, actually, when I was mayor in '91, is when the Pentagon announced that they were going to close the Marine base. So I remember having an interview with the Christian Science Monitor and several national publications for the base.
So were you on the Planning Commission during the time that somebody had to figure out what are we going to do with all this land?
I was on from '82 to '88. That's before they announced they were going to close it. And then I was on again from 2006 to 2012.
Now, 6 to 12 should have been some heavy years of
Yeah,
planning,
there
right?
was some involved, a lot of that. Yeah, so
Had to decide what's going to be residence and
yes,
what's going to be parks and all that
And the
stuff.
district, it was done while I was off, so I wasn't involved really in the district. But yeah, a lot of the things, the flight out there, a lot of the things that are going on now, I was involved in.
I remember coming to a city council meeting once, don't remember the year, but the discussion was the sports stuff. And there was a whole bunch of people there hollering for pickleball. I'd never heard of it before. Do you remember that?
We've got some very nice
Oh, yeah.
pickleball courts now.
And they were lobbying heavy.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even know what a sport that was.
Yeah.
Now it's a big deal.
Oh, it is.
Everybody
Tremendous
plays
deal.
pickleball.
In fact, I remember when I was on, I was either the planning commissioner or I was mayor, because I was running a meeting, but we were talking about the auto center. So it might have been planning commission. But I had a neighbor that went to church with us that lived fairly close now to where the auto center is. Not, I mean, she's still probably half a mile, three-quarters, was that far away, but she was so upset with the thought of the auto center going in because of the lights and the noise and whatever, and so she came to the meeting, and she was talking, ranting and raving about how she didn't want to see the auto center put in. And I thought I was really paying attention. I thought I was looking like I was paying attention. But all of a sudden she stops and she says, "Am I boring you, Mr. Puckett?" So I guess I wasn't looking like I was paying attention, but you have to be able to do that because not everybody is happy with.
There's always
what you're
two
doing.
sides to any issue.
Oh, yeah, but the auto center has been tremendous. And I've been involved with the groundbreaking on almost every one of those dealers. I've been involved with the ribbon cuttings as they open the stores, and it's just been a tremendous asset to the city. So,
Wonderful things happening in the legacy.
yeah, oh, yeah, yeah.
The Veterans Memorial is really.
It is. I was certainly involved in that. And the sports park there. In fact, I was involved in the sports park that's, up the north part of town. So and this is just a great little city. I just feel so bad that I'm going to be leaving. I'm going to have to leave because my daughter moved to Arizona, and we're going to be going to Arizona. So after 47 years, this has been home, and this is one of the finest cities in Orange County, if not the finest.
One little mistake we made with the memorial, Veterans Memorial, and being in the Legion, I was at a meeting where we were asked for our opinion, which we loved, and we saw the architect's drawings and everything. But how did we ever know they were going to create the Space Force when we came up with that 5-sided obelisk? And now we're one side
That's right.
short of the Space Force.
Yep.
But they'll figure out a solution.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure.
Somehow.
They'll put some little something over on the side for the
Yeah.
Space Force. Someday there'll be veterans from that new branch, but right
Oh,
now,
yes,
right
there
now
will be.
there aren't any.
That is a beautiful sports park
Yes.
and memorial, and it's so popular, so well
yeah.
used.
It's out there anytime and it's
Yeah.
filled up.
Yep, I love it. I love it every bit. When I ran for council, that was my motto. I love Tustin, and still love Tustin. It's wonderful.
Oh, it's like a small town in a big city metropolitan area, but it has all the smallness that you'd want.
Yeah, and that's one thing when I moved here in '75, Tustin was 22,000. When I was mayor in '91, it was up to 50,000. And when I was mayor in 2015, I think it was up to 70, 75, and now it's up to almost 90. Or in 19, when I was mayor, it was close to 90. So it'll top out at 100, but we've still maintained that small town feel. And the old town is just such a charming place. This is just wonderful.
I lived in Irvine for many years, and there is no feel there in that city. It's just a sprawl.
Yeah, you're right.
There's no center. There's no feeling of a small town. You just feel like you're living in some giant sprawling suburb or something.
Yeah.
Here, there's a downtown. There's a definite age to it, and history, and it's just a wonderful place to
Yeah,
live.
and since we're sitting here in the museum and we look out at El Camino Real, I had a vision of lighting the trees.
That was my next question.
Was it? Okay. I had a vision in 2002 of lighting the trees on El Camino Real, and then we've done it each way a block from El Camino Real on Main Street.
People love it.
Oh,
So good.
I went to Ann Arbor, Michigan in 2002 to attend a former neighbor's high school graduation. And they had those trees were lit in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And they were just absolutely fantastic. So I came back, and that was my goal. I presented it to the Chamber of Commerce. Well, they didn't have the money to do it. So, but I kept at that for 13 years.
13 years.
13 years. So
That's
finally in
persistent.
2015, when I was mayor, we had a party right across the street here and lit the lights on for the
Oh,
trees.
that's great.
The only problem I see with that is now people that know that was involved, I go to a restaurant along here, and if the trees happen to be not lit for one night or something, they tell me about it and expect me to get the trees back, or get the lights back on. But I could handle that.
If I go out at night and I have to go, because we live over near the 55 on 17th, and I have to go in that direction, I'll avoid 17th, I'll avoid 1st, and I'll come down to make sure I see the lights. It's just beautiful, gorgeous, so I commend you on that.
I thank you. I do the same thing.
Oh, it's just great.
Any chance, even if and it's always out of the way, it seems like, to go
Yeah.
somewhere, but
I would
have
go out
to
of the
come
way to
in.
drive through downtown at night.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, I am so proud of that. I mean, if I've got any legacy, I think that's the most visible
Chuck, I know
legacy.
you've been involved with the Tustin Community Foundation. Tell us about that.
When I was on city council with Jeff Thomas really had the idea, first mentioned the idea of having the Tustin Community Foundation. And so I was involved with Jeff, in getting this going. And I really became the first president of the foundation, and was there really from the beginning. And in fact, Paul Irby and I, who were really running it at one time, hired Aaron Nielsen to be the executive director. The first executive director was a gentleman named Bob Kiley, who lived in Yorba Linda, and he did a great job of getting it going. But then Erin has come on, and she has just really put the foundation on the map, and she's done a tremendous job. So I'm proud that that's one of my legacies. Also, is being responsible for getting Aaron Nielsen as executive director of the foundation.
Well, it was so good to see you again after the COVID intermission, refereeing at paper football.
Oh yeah. Well, I've been involved in that. I think that was the 4th or 5th year. I think that
7th, maybe.
it was the 7th, whatever it was. I've been involved with that since day one, because
That's a wonderful way to take money and give it back to charities.
Oh, it is.
And have fun doing it.
and the
I
foundation.
think it's the biggest paper football game in the world.
Oh, I'm sure it is. Yeah.
I don't think there's any
Sure,
rival.
there aren't very many of them that do that, but the money that they passed out this year to all those organizations is just
I
phenomenal.
think it was 11 or 12,000.
Really? Okay. That's wonderful. And then we have the Mayor's Prayer Breakfast at the end of, I think it's in November, and that's when the Community Foundation gives all their grants out. So that more that they can bring in, and the more you help them with fundraising, the more they can give out of
Oh, yeah.
grants.
Oh, yeah.
So-
Yeah, she's done a great job.
Yeah, she has.
No doubt about it. Chuck, one of my favorite activities each year is to go to the Tustin Man of the Year. And I know that you've been involved. Tell us about your night.
I was nominated, in fact, this was when I was president of the Boys and Girls Club. They nominated me in 1985 for Man of the Year, and I didn't win. Joe Langley was elected Man of the Year in '85, but don't give up, because they nominated me again in 1986, and I was selected Man of the Year with Margaret Granke. Margaret Granke was the Woman of the Year, and so we were the Couple of the Year. I think, I like to think we were the Couple of the Year, but I've had a full relationship with the Man and Woman of the Year committee since 1986, because
86.
we meet together every year and get the nominations from all the clubs and then make the selections. So it's been quite an honor to be involved with that program.
Now, Chuck, contrast that with Mr. Tustin. I know you've been involved in that too.
Yeah,
They're a little different, aren't they?
they are, and I love, Mr. Tustin is a part of the Miss Tustin
Yeah.
program. And
It's a major fundraiser.
Yeah, it's a major fundraiser. I was involved the second year, I think the first year the guys made about $4,000, $4,000 or $5,000. Well, I think the second year, we really hyped it, and I think we made $11,000 or $12,000 for the
It's a big
Girl
deal
Scout,
now.
yeah. And I didn't win.
No, but
I certainly thought I should have won because I went as Santa Claus and sang a song, and to get up there and sing a song as Santa Claus, you know. But Johnny Parker was the winner, and he did a great job. He had a big crew with him, but it's a great fundraiser.
oh, it's fun.
And Jim Kohlenberger has done a phenomenal job with Miss Tustin.
She described it the other day at one of our American Legion gatherings. She said it's a night when guys get up on the stage and make a fool of themselves.
That's true.
But that's funny.
But I was disguised as Santa Claus, so that
But that's
Nobody knew who you.
nobody knew I would.
No.
that's so much fun. I just can't wait. And that darn COVID shut it off for
Yeah, it
2
did.
years.
Was it 2 years?
Yeah, but
Oh.
there's a date set now. They're going to come back.
Yeah, yeah. And we
I
got to
can't-
do it.
I can't wait.
No, we have selected a new Miss Tustin, what, 3-4 weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
So it's good to be, things kind of getting back to
Yeah.
normal. If we ever get back to what normal was, why, I don't think we'll ever know what normal used to be.
We're getting kind of close.
Yeah.
At any rate, Chuck, tell us a little bit about how you became involved as Santa's helper and how long you've been doing it, and then tell us who could possibly replace you. We don't think anybody can.
Well, it's good. I appreciate that. And Mrs. Claus appreciates that.
Yeah. She's a big part of it, too.
I was having, and this was when I was president of the Community Foundation, was having coffee with the police officer, George Valavieni, at Starbucks or somewhere, and he was telling me about this program. This was in like 1998, I think, and so he was telling me about this program he'd like to have the police department do, you know, to have a sleigh, Santa sleigh that they could take around all the neighborhoods. He says, well, we don't have any money. And I said, well, I'll get you the money, because I'll have you come to the board of the Community Foundation, tell your story, and then we'll give you the money to do it. So he did. He came to the board meeting and made his presentation. We gave him the money to buy a trailer. So he bought a trailer, and then I went with him down to an antique store in San Juan Capistrano, and we found a sleigh. And so we bought this sleigh, and well, he did all the work. He mounted the sleigh on the trailer, did all of the work on the side of it, fixed the deer that go up in front of it, and he just did a phenomenal job, and he's really maintained it all these years until he retired about 2 or 3 years ago. But the first year I think we did that was either 98 or 99, and we did it at Energy Center. They always had their Christmas kickoff a week before Thanksgiving. So I would help with that as Santa's helper, and it's been fun. I've been doing that every year since then, and so I've seen kids that
But
came.
there's more than just Interlake Center. You drive up and down.
And
all
then
the
we
streets.
take every night, every weeknight in December, we take it around all the neighborhoods. And so I was involved in that at some point. We have other,
How much of the city can you cover?
we do a good job of covering most of it. They've combined with the COVID, they used to stop at every corner and let kids come up
Yeah.
and get a candy cane or whatever. But with the COVID, they just
Drive.
go by and wave at the kids. It's not quite the same, but they still enjoy it.
So you avoid like industrial areas and stick
Yeah,
just
yeah,
residential?
just
heavy-
residential
Heavy
areas.
residential areas.
And the kids love it. They love
Oh,
it.
yeah.
But I've seen kids grow up, you know, just who are coming as 3 or 4-year-olds are now 20 years old, still coming to see Santa's helpers.
Well, give us your best guess on what'll happen to that.
Oh, it'll keep going. Dana Harper has taken over from George Valavieni with the police department. So Dana has done it at least 2 years now, maybe 3. But no, it's something that probably no other city, maybe even in Orange County, does. And so it's really something that Tustin's known
That's
for.
part of that small town feeling. You can't.
Oh, yeah.
You couldn't do that in Irvine.
No,
Couldn't
it's,
do it in Orange.
no, it's a tremendous thing that goes on.
You sure couldn't do it in Anaheim or
No,
a place like
no,
that too.
it's just the right thing for Tustin.
That's
So I was involved in that and getting that started, so.
no, but who's going to be Santa's helper?
I have no idea. There's some other helpers that help out.
Donna was a big part of that.
Donna was Mrs. Claus.
Yeah, she was in the sleigh.
Yeah, yeah. So we had a good time. We had fun. But I had one little girl sit on my lap last year, a couple of years ago, about 6 years old. And I know she's going to be a success in life because she has broken the code on how to succeed. She brought Santa a computerized list of what she wanted for Christmas. But the reason she's going to be a success is that taped to the bottom of the list was a dollar bill. So she already knows how to
Marketing 101.
succeed. Yep, you're right.
And now she'll become a lobbyist.
That's right. So it's been fun being involved with the Santa program.
That's good.
And it'll keep going. It'll keep going.
I'll never forget, we moved into Tustin in Endley Gardens, and you came and knocked on my door that you're going to run for city council. And you said, "This is my last rodeo." I'll never forget you saying that.
Is that right?
Because you've been,
Well, that didn't happen, did it?
you've been through.
I've been on that bucking horse a long, long time.
Chuck, you have done so many things for the city, and you're leaving such a great legacy. Tell us, what's the hardest thing you've ever had to do?
The hardest thing I've had to do is we're going to be moving to Arizona. And after 47 years of seeing Tustin grow and prosper, and in fact, one of my prayers is that Tustin will, always has been, that Tustin would grow and prosper. And Tustin's been a very successful city. But after being involved for this many years, 47 years, our daughter moved over to Prescott last year and is building a home. And of course, it's just natural that you want to be where the kids are, where the family is. And our grandson bought a house over there. So we knew at some point we would go over there, but we just didn't quite know it was going to be this fast.
You wanted to put it off.
No, but I'm glad at my age now, it's been hard enough to get everything, try to weed things out. If I'd waited 3 or 4 years, it would have been even tougher. But it's good. It's tough to leave a place like Tustin, and we'll come back. And anytime we happen to be back this way, it's going to be because there's something going on in Tustin. So I'm going to miss.
Everybody would love it if you come back occasionally.
Oh, I promise that.
Prescott is kind of two cities in one. Describe roughly where you're going to be. There's the old part and the new part.
We are. I think we're not right downtown, where the square is, but we're only 4 miles away from where our daughter's building their house. And unbeknownst to us, when we went over there two weekends ago to look at her house, because they're building a beautiful home, and they were stuccoing it that day, and so she's going to be probably moving in June. But from her house, you can see the senior facility that she's scouted out for us. And she had, unbeknownst to us, she had scouted these senior facilities and picked out the best one, and so everything seemed to just fall into place for us to.
How far would you be from the square?
Probably 5 miles, maybe. Not too far, but.
Such a charming city.
Oh, it is. And I've got a friend, Al Zardinetta, that was a LA motorcycle cop for years before he retired, lives in Tustin. His uncle is listed on the monument that's right there in front of the square. So,
Wasn't Prescott the original capital of Arizona?
I don't know.
I think it was.
Was it? Okay.
They moved it to Phoenix later.
But it's the Christmas city. They do a phenomenal job of decorating and lighting at Christmas time. So,
It's a good climate.
yeah, it is. It's four seasons. It's-
Phoenix is a little warm.
Yeah.
and
Prescott's a
has
mile
four
high,
seasons. That's
and we
four
lived in
seasons.
Denver. We came here from Denver, and Denver was mile high. So we're gonna have to get reacclimated to the altitude, but we can do that. So, and we're on the fourth floor of the senior facility, close to the elevator, and have a balcony that looks out at the mountains, a beautiful view. But it's gonna be,
So you got to do some downsizing.
oh, that's the worst part. We're
Well, I asked what's the hardest thing you ever did.
This is it. We're involved in it right now. And we went from a 5-bedroom home to, we've got a bedroom which will take our bedroom's furniture. We'll take our family room furniture, and we'll take our kitchen table chairs, and that's it. So the rest of it is,
You're going to have a heck of a yard sale or what?
we have been giving away
Oh,
a
giving.
lot of stuff, yeah. And our granddaughter's been selling some stuff for us, so, yeah, no, but you still, after doing this, you still walk into the room and think, where do I start? And
Well,
cleaning out clothes and closets and
Let me
things.
put in a little pitch for an organization called Patriots and Paws.
Oh, okay,
If you're not familiar with it, I'll get you the business card, but they will come to your house and collect furniture, take it
Oh,
to
they
their
will?
warehouse, and it goes free to veterans only.
okay, good.
And a veteran can take his DD-214 in and show it and walk out with any furniture that they want.
I would love that.
Patriots and Paws, and the reason Paws is in there is they also have service dogs.
Oh, good, okay. Well, our doggie is gonna go with us. Daisy will be there as long as she behaves herself.
Dogs are allowed.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But she won't be able to have her backyard to go in, and so,
The only restriction with Patriots and Paws is due to the law and their licensing. They can't go inside your home and take it out. You have to get it outside the door.
okay. Yeah, we've given some stuff to Habitat for Humanity, and we put it out on the outside.
Equally good charity. This is veterans only, and
Okay, well, I would love that,
so
because I've been involved with the Veterans Outpost, you know, at the rescue mission, and it's been wonderful to help those guys. So,
now that's the home of the American Legion now.
oh, really?
Jim
Okay.
Palmer gave us space.
Oh, yeah, oh,
That's
good.
That's where we meet,
Fantastic,
the
fantastic.
Veterans Outpost.
Yep, yep.
He does a lot of wonderful things for the
Oh, he
community,
does.
too.
He's wonderful.
He'll leave a legacy like you.
Yep. He's,
Well, Chuck, talk about legacies. You're going to have one. A lot of people are going to remember the things that you did. And I'll think about it every time I drive down El Camino Real at night.
oh, well, if you see a light out, you're gonna have to take charge of getting them back on.
And we'll miss you refereeing at paper football,
I will probably miss that next year.
and we'll miss you as Santa's helper, and Donna too. And you've been
Well-
a big part of that.
They found out over there that at the senior facility that I had been a Santa's helper, and so we're gonna have the opportunity to help.
Take your costume with you.
Yes, yeah. Yep, so we'll be involved.
Can you come back for Mr. Tustin? It's a laugh. It's a
Oh,
hoot.
yeah, anytime I get an opportunity to come back, we're gonna come back, that's for sure. And I hate to miss the chili cook-off, I hate to miss the Tiller Days, all of the things that are going on. The Man and Woman of the Year banquet is in June, and I hate to miss that, so,
Mr. Tustin is later in the year. I've forgotten the date, but
Yeah.
it's been scheduled.
yeah.
So
Well, any opportunity we have, we're gonna be here.
we'd always love to see you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much for this interview.
Thank you, it's my pleasure, I feel honored.
Well, you should be.